Happy Wednesday afternoon, everybody. It's we're live from the car office. I know there's a lot of people, seniors, you know the car office well. Rookies, you will get to know it sometimes. The car office is it's honestly the place to be. If you're in Ontario, this might be the only place you're legally allowed to be out of the house in some areas, which is a joke in itself. But anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. I know there's a lot of people studying for exams right now. There's a lot of people making some big progress. That's why we're here today. We're here to talk to the Rookie and Entrepreneur of the Week. So guys, as you come on, just request. There should be a request to join. You can request to join. I'll keep an eye out too. I can see there's a couple people there right now. Just can't see who they are. So again, I think it's Karissa. You're going to be on here. Alex can't be. But everybody else, Chase, if you're here, just jump on. But just as we do, we wait for everybody to connect in. For me, some of the things that are front of mind is there's no. I keep having this thought. I don't know where it came from, but it's like in my head, it's like there's no way but through. That's kind of where we're sitting right now, and that's we're just about to go into battle. I think a little bit, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. Oddly, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I think like there's multiple priorities. I'm in my car because I'm literally about to go pick my kids up from daycare because daycare closes in 23 minutes, and it's about making everything you got to do happen versus picking and choosing. So Chase, I see you. I'm just about to, and once Chase jumps in, we'll hear what he did to double his goal last week. So again, sometimes Chase, if you just request it again for some reason, sometimes it takes a couple seconds to do it. So he's got to check in on that. But again, I think there's a lot of opportunity right now and a lot to try and take advantage of. But it takes energy to take advantage of opportunities. So it's busy time of the year. You gotta. If you ran an orchard, you gotta pick when you gotta pick, and it's time to pick. Everybody, it's time to get things done. So Chris, if you're there, you can jump on anytime too. Chase, you just got to do the same request. I'm not sure what it did to kick you out, but something happened to kick you out. One of the things that I'm thinking about too a lot right now is people's teams. So we'll see where that is with Chase and Karissa. So I'm just doing it again there. Chase, just adding you back in and connecting. Here we go. What's going on, Chase? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good to see you. Good to be able to chat. How are things?
They're good. I did my window cleaning training this morning, so I finally learned how to properly do all that stuff, which is awesome.
I think it is so cool that you can book literally thousands of dollars of customers, and
Mhm.
you learned how to clean a window this morning.
It's kind of crazy.
How
Mhm.
awesome is that? I think what it talks to is that what you're really learning are the fundamentals, not window cleaning.
Mhm.
Though window cleaning, believe it or not, is part of running a window cleaning business, but just shows you're running the fundamentals. So congrats on your week last week, man. I'm glad we get to chat. You and I haven't had a chance.
Mhm.
You and I have not had a chance to chat yet, but yeah, congrats on an awesome week. Congrats on
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
rookie of the week, and it sounds like you doubled your goal last week. So what are some of the things that when you think back and reflect on last week when you went through GSNR and everything this week
Mhm.
that were drivers that you can share and that you're going to try and continue this week?
Well, yeah. So I'm relatively new in the business. Like that was my third week, I think. This is my fourth now. So I was really just getting on those PCs, sending all those first contact of the years out, and just calling, like picking up the phone and getting on there. That was the biggest thing for me. And to be honest with you, the probably the best thing I think I was doing was like at the end, like, oh, I'm gonna call until like 7 o'clock tonight and then go watch the Leafs or whatever. And so I'd be like calling up until 7, but then like from like 6:45 to like 7, nobody would really pick up the phone. I'd be thinking about quitting, and instead of just quitting, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to at least one more person. And I just keep going in 7:10, 7:15, but like 7:20 would roll around, and I book like a $400 job. And it'd be like, oh
Yeah.
yes, that was worth it. Every second was worth it. So just that like kind of uh, resolve to like keep going, or
Awesome. It's
mhm.
so what you just said there, man. Every once in a while, I'll say I get goosebumps. And the
Yeah.
reason I said that is a couple things. Like one, for those that watched the business owner and went through the training, hopefully everyone did, but I know that's not reality. So,
Mhm.
but with business owner mindset, one of the biggest things that I always talk about, the difference between an employee mindset and a business owner mindset, is a business owner is worried about the output not
Mhm.
the input, worried more about the output. So for you, when you're like, if it was an employee job, it'd be like
Mhm.
6:45 and you'd be starting to check out. You'd be like, all right, 15 minutes to go. I'm going to
Yep.
clock watch this one. And then what happens on the negative is when you've got the authority and autonomy as a business
Mhm.
owner to just wrap it at 6:45 versus needing to wait the clock out, you
Mhm.
wrap it and you can self-justify why that doesn't happen. But going, no, I'm going to talk to one more customer. Like
Yeah.
that is massive because that's focused not on the input. You're not like, well, I'm going to call for half an hour or talk to one more customer. It's
Mhm.
the output. So don't ever forget that. That is a
Yeah.
huge, huge lesson. And this other thing that was actually Jessica Tufnell that I'll say coined it um, 2 or 3 years ago, which was the one more mentality. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna do one more. So when you're actually doing estimates, you're like, let's just get one more. Well, you get one more, and you're like, I still got time. Like, let's get one more.
Mhm.
Why don't I just talk to just okay, maybe one more. I'm gonna talk to one person. They didn't book. Okay, one more. So like
Yeah.
this, like the idea of like the one more mentality, man. It's crazy what that can do. And then you book a $400 job, and now all of a
Mhm.
sudden it's a different world. And in the sense of like what you're trying to accomplish that day. So there's two things like that are really cool in what you said that just to unpack a little bit because that's a
Mhm.
really big element of the some people get like into the motivation mindset and like the like what do I need to be sometimes there's just like the get shit done mindset and that for
Yeah.
you is like you know what I mean like that like I'm
Mhm.
gonna talk to one more person. I know I said 7 p.m. I do want to go watch the Leafs game, although the
Mhm.
first period the other night wasn't worth watching anyways. But
No,
with that
no,
said,
unfortunately.
but with that said, it's like that hey, I'm gonna choose my priority and
Mhm.
deliver on the output versus focus on maybe what the input was. But one man, that's so cool. So that's awesome. So how's the week going for you this week?
Uh, well, this week, I mean, I just spent probably an hour and a half on the phone calling people. I only booked maybe $150 one job, but we just keep trucking through, just keep going. I'm probably once this is over, I'll just keep going. Because it's always, yeah, it's like that, like you said, that next mindset. The next person I get on the phone, they're gonna book, and it's just like keep going, keep trucking. But I've booked past 2 days have gone pretty well. Like I did $1,000, I think, Monday and Tuesday.
Nice.
Booked in, which is I'd love to do that again or keep that
Yeah.
up. But
Well, here
yeah, no,
I'll send the good vibes. That's what'll
yeah,
happen. So,
thank you.
it's funny you say that too. Just that like the law of thirds, right? Just these different things
Mhm.
are kind of continuing to pop out, right? It's like I booked $150. Who knows, man? The next phone call you make might be
Exactly.
$500 job, right? So you might go
Hmm.
back to back to back where it's like $200 job, $100 job, $200 job, and you're like, whoa, what just happened? So, that's cool. Anything else what's the biggest thing that if you think about like that, you've been around for 3 or 4 weeks. There's a lot of other
Hmm.
people that have been around for 3 or 4 weeks. What's some of the I don't know, what's the biggest learning you've had so far? I mean, you're so early on, I know, but like, what's what stands out to you when I ask you what's the biggest learning for you?
What's the biggest learning? Probably that there's always something to do. Like every time, like I'm doing an assignment or like I study for an exam or whatever, like, and then I kind of finish up. It's like, I could probably call some people right now, or I could get on and figure out, or like last week I was doing all of like setting up my business bank account and where I called the CRA when I had like 5 minutes to go set that thing up, or just like there's always something I could be doing, and that's just the kind of the way I'm thinking. Like it there's 24 hours in a day, right? So
Yeah,
you can fill most of them up. Just just keep trucking. I don't know.
it's a
Yeah.
good thing where you say that too, because there's like, and I ask that it's because you're sitting in a different seat than you probably are used to. I don't mean physically, you probably sat in that chair before, but
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest things that I learned. It didn't necessarily hit me in the first 3 or 4 weeks, but I think back to like one of my first years. After my first year, I was talking to my dad, I guess it was, and he asked me a similar question. And I talked about how like a lot of times things like prior, they kind of go in like a linear fashion in the
Hmm.
sense of like they're in sequence, right? Like I've got to work and then I got to go study and then I've got to do this thing. When I was running the business, it felt like there was a lot of things running in parallel at the same
Yeah.
time, right? Like they're kind of like on top of each other and like
Hmm.
running at the same like you've got all these other things. So it was a bit more dynamic, but that's pretty cool. One last question. What made you choose
to run the business this summer? I mean, you and I haven't really had a chance to chat. What
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks ago, you're like, hey, this is how I want to spend my time. What was the reason that you chose to do this season?
To me, it's kind of like a really cool opportunity because like um a lot of other internships or opportunities that me as a third year commerce student has. Like I worked at Bell for a summer. I literally sat in my chair and filled out Excel sheets all day. And so for me, this is a really cool thing where I like get to go build and manage my own team, getting that experience. And then I also get to do a bunch of sales, which I think is when maybe isn't my forte. Like I'm a little bit more of an introverted kind of guy, but getting that experience, just going out there and actually doing it, kind of shaking off the nerves or whatever it is also huge for me to kind of get out there and be able to do that. So, and I also think there's a whole bunch of things that I'm learning like right now, even like doing those. I interviewed hired 3 people last week, which was kind of crazy to be like on the other side of that. And be the one doing the interview and asking the questions and trying to like sell the role and do all of those types of things. That was really that was a really cool experience that I would never ever have gotten another chance to do at somewhere else. So I'm loving it so far. It's been really awesome. Mm-hmm.
Well, those are big things. We talk a lot about, like, school teaches you like what to do, and then this kind of experience teaches you how to do it, right? Like,
Exactly.
I think that's you get exposed. The thing is, you get exposed to some things at the same time, which is what actually makes it tough.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's cool, man. Well, congrats on a great week last week. I love the mindset and the things that you kind of like you brought to it, and man, it sounds like you're in the right place. I'm super glad you're a part of the CP fam, and congrats on an awesome start, 3-4 weeks in, and doubling goals and doing the
Yeah.
work. There's gonna be some valleys, but enjoy it while
Mm-hmm.
things are going well right now. And congrats on an awesome week, and welcome to the CP fam.
Thanks so much. It's been awesome. It's been awesome talking with you. It was awesome to meet you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
likewise, man. I can't wait till we get to see each other in person at some point, because that will happen, right?
Yeah,
And maybe we can have a beverage and catch up. It'd be good to see you.
absolutely. Alrighty.
All right, Jit, have a good one. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Bye bye.
Perfect. All right. So then, Chris, you just gotta same thing. Actually, I can bring you on here. One sec. It showed up on my end. It says it's adding you. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see some people, and it's different for me not seeing people in person through some of the trainings that we've done a little bit different in the past. So Karissa, it just says adding, says connecting.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I haven't seen you in a while. Speaking of not seeing people.
I know.
You know what? The
Yeah.
last time I saw you, and it's not your fault, but the last time I saw you was at TSB last year, I think. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
houseboating, actually.
Oh, I saw you at houseboating. You're right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Maybe I don't. Houseboating is maybe a bit. It was a bit of an in and out. It was a bit of a blur. You're right. So that's funny. But how are things? How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Last week was really kind of stood out to me. I don't know what happened. It was a big success. I'm really happy with it. But yeah.
Yeah, you guys had an awesome week last week. 10 grand external. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just a super strong week, right? Like, I don't know. I don't even, again, I don't know necessarily what you guys are trying to do total this year. I know you and Alex are trying to run a big business, but obviously it's a standout week. So I'd love to
Yeah.
hear a little bit about, um, actually for you, like how this year compares to last year, because obviously you had an experience last year.
Yeah.
And just how last week maybe compared to some of the other weeks, and maybe some of the things you guys did to have such a big momentum push. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, so well, this year I think everything is different. I've got Alex obviously with me, which is a huge help. I've got a good setup. I already know like the CP fam more, so it's not like completely like it's not new to me. I'm more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've got a good setup, hitting goals more so, and yeah, just having Alex there is obviously a big help. But for this last week, I would say a few things really helped. I've been training marketers kind of incrementally, I guess you would say. So I've had
Cool.
I've had them for a few weeks now. I had them first just starting out, getting their like pitch down and getting estimates down, being comfortable actually talking to strangers, and then I went on to like giving them the Excel sheet to fill out every night with all of their leads and sending that to me. And then I started actually having them try to upsell and try to book like fall jobs or, you know, I don't know, stuff like that. And also booking jobs on the spot, which has been super helpful.
Yeah.
Just to, at the end of the night, you don't have to write them down. You don't have to call back people. You can just book them right in. So that's really helpful. And I actually had one of my previous customers from last year text me and say that he has like a group chat on his street and somebody asked about window cleaning. He's like, oh yes, I got the perfect person for you. And he referred like 10 people to me, and I went there on Saturday and I booked them all on the spot. So that was over a grand on the spot. So that's one thing that really helped anyways, referrals. Yeah.
Very cool. So it's what's going through my mind when you say that is, one, you've got people as well. That's been a big theme in the last month, I'd say, right? Like when I haven't really talked to somebody in the last month that hasn't said they've had a pretty big week and had people or hired their team. So that's cool. The other thing that's going through my mind is like a lot of times when you have a big week, a lot of times it's seen as like the spike, but usually there's like a few weeks beforehand of like things that kind of build up, and then you get a couple of bounces that go your way too at the same time, right? So for you, when you're like, I had these, you know, we had this team, so like that's a good thing, right? And then you had like a couple weeks of like training and getting them going. It wasn't like you brought a team on and then all of a sudden went and booked 10 grand. It was like,
No.
hey, like usually a big week is like a culmination of a lot of other things. And then, hey, look, the fact that you had a PC and did great work last year and were able to go do those estimates right away, and the fact that you didn't push them off and that you were there, like there's like a lot of things that had to happen over the course of a couple of weeks to make things go right. So I think that's pretty cool. So how's that momentum? It doesn't mean you also go 10K and then go 11K, 12. Like clearly there's a spike, and where, you know, you're gonna have like the waves, if you will, but you kind of you built yourself a wave, which is fantastic. So how's that momentum carried into this week with your team? I mean, we're early in the week; it's middle, well, it's called Wednesday, but how's that looking for you so far this week in terms of like the momentum and some of those things that you guys have been doing?
Yeah, well, since it was a really good weekend, I had the marketers go out last weekend because we just got a huge dump of snow.
You guys got smoked with snow. Crazy.
Yeah, we got so much snow. It's crazy. So we haven't been out as much as I want to this week, but thankfully we made up for it a little bit last week, and I knew that, so that's why I pushed marketing more last week as well, because I knew this would be coming. So we're just gonna keep having marketing nights. I'm gonna go out with my team as much as possible this week, and yeah, just get as much as I can. And I know that my finals are coming up. I'm first one on Friday and then all the way up to the end of April. So that's another reason why I just want to get as much done now as I can, so I can have a few nights to myself to study to later.
Makes sense. So planning it in advance is huge. So you're like, hey, we got to get out this weekend. It's going to snow. I've got exams coming up. The one thing I'd really encourage you to think about as you go through it is how do you keep the momentum going with the people and the activity, right? So it doesn't have to be like necessarily like be perfect, let's say. But when I say that, it's kind of like you're not going to go 10K, 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 10K. We just said it, right? Like typically. But if you can go and have your people out, whether it's with you or without you or with someone else or whatever, like, so that they don't lose their momentum, right? So it's like climbing a hill, or like when you go for a run, and if you like stop, it's kind of tough to get started again. So you guys get smoked with snow, I get that. But even if you got exams, like how can you get them out? How can you keep them moving? How can you keep them like at least getting some activity, even if they're shorter shifts? You know what I mean? Like, can you go out if you've got an exam you got to go study? Can you go out with them for the first hour and they keep going, or can they go out for an hour and you join them for a second hour? Like, how can we make sure like the machine doesn't lose its momentum? Will be huge for you now that you've had that big week and you've got your people moving. So I think that's really cool. How's your production team? Like, I'm assuming they're the same team, but maybe not. How's the team looking for production for you?
No, actually the last team last year, they moved to Waterloo or something for university, so I don't have them anymore. So we're just still looking for. They went over to the east side, but Yeah, we're still currently hiring. I got some people, just connections that I'll be looking into, but these next couple weeks here, yeah, definitely going to be crushing out getting all the equipment ready and getting all the production team prepared as well. So yeah, that'll be
Cool.
a big push here.
That's a big one. So yeah, if your marketing team can be out without you, it's even better, right? Or if some of those marketers want to clean some windows this summer, who knows? That's some leverage right there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so you mentioned something else, which was referrals. I think that's a little underutilized, and obviously that one kind of fell into your lap, right? When the guy's like, "Hey, whatever, I mentioned this." So, but I guess
Yeah.
how did those estimates go? I mean, you said you booked them all on the spot, right? So like, they must have been a different style, like a different feel, I would assume, than just something like a cold call.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than cold calling, obviously, because they all kind of knew that I was gonna be coming, and they were like, "Oh yes, you're yeah, I know you, yeah." So they kind of expected me to show up, and it was really easy. They were all super nice. I kind of had them all book on the same 2 days in June, and I gave them all like neighbor discounts, like to make up for like the setup fee or whatever. So they were all really happy with that. And yeah, the PC that texted me said they're all really cheap, but like if there's some kind of discount, then they'd really appreciate that. But thankfully everybody booked, and they all seem to be happy, so that's really good.
That's another big one just for everybody. It's, watching and listening here after, but is that referral. Even if you haven't done the work for the person. Now, again, I know for you it's a PC, but there's a lot of people out there that are PC calling and not asking for referrals, right? If you think of all those people that you're talking to, right? Like, even if you haven't done the work for them, it's, hey, I'm obviously getting ready for the spring. And I wanted to see if you happen to know anybody that could benefit from a free estimate. It's like, let me think about that. Well, hey, you're going to get a confirmation email from me. Feel free to pass that along. I'm always happy to do estimates for anybody. It's just that time, right? Like, estimates are huge right now to be able to get through referrals. But anyway, I mean, awesome job last week. Great to see you. Hopefully I see you before houseboating again. Hopefully that's
Yeah.
hopefully, but if not, I'll see you at houseboating or on another one of these. Hopefully you can throw down another big week at some point, another one of these. And it's I'm really glad to see how much you made, how much progress you've made from last year. Right? Like, I know last year you had a decent year, and then this year you guys are rolling, and throwing down a 10K week is not something you would have done last year. Did you book 10 grand external last year?
I don't even know.
I'd say it was something you were able, but I think that's a really cool thing, just as like a timeout, that you're able to almost do last week what you did last year with the new customer side of stuff.
Like,
so
that's crazy, and that's the only thing, is like, that's the only person I'm competing with is who I was last year, and I think I'm doing pretty damn good so far.
Yeah,
so I'm
very
happy
cool.
with it.
Hey, I love it. You should be super proud of that. And I'm really glad that you're running it, and good to see you. And again, hopefully see you soon, and congrats again on an Entrepreneur of the Week, and just a huge momentum push and a big move forward for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to see you.
All right, Karissa, talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Take care. So, whole bunch of cool stuff there. Again, I just think it shows the markets there. There's a lot of like things that were in that I'm going to probably go back and think through, but that just that mentality that's there, of the one more mentality. And I'm going to worry about the output, not the input. And just being able to have people and get people ready and doing things incrementally, and it taking a few weeks to build up to a big week. All those things are huge. They're all real in the business, and they're all going to continue. So remember, everybody, again, as I say all the time, momentum is always happening. It's either going with you or it's going against you. Do what you need to do to keep the momentum moving forward. And it's window cleaning season, everybody. Let's go. We'll talk to you soon.